We have talked about them before, but please allow me to say it again. A podcast you have to check out is The Inside Flap. They are a wonderful trio coming out of Littleton, Colorado. Dave, Laura, and Andrew review books, interview authors, and discuss relevant literature issues on their show. It's a wonderful podcast, and I've listened to all their episodes. In addition, your very own host here on the More You NoCo, Ivan Wayne, I recently got to be interviewed on their show and review a book of my choice. That episode is going to be released on Sunday, February 10th, if you're interested. So check out their podcast. That's The Inside Flap on all podcast apps. Welcome to the More You NoCo, bringing curiosity and community connection to Northern Colorado, one conversation at a time. I am your host, Ivan Wayne. Are you excited? You should be. I have to admit, I was excited about recording this episode. It's not every day you get to sit down with and talk to one of your new favorite musicians. And then, on top of that, I got to record our guest perform a brand new song live in his home. What a day. I first saw Julio perform in his group by the name of This Broken Beat and knew I had to have him on this podcast. This episode was months in the making. Julio Perez has made his own path in music, but is looking to change course. We talk about his reflections and next steps on this episode. Plus, a first for this show, near the end of the episode, Julio performs a brand new song for us live during the recording. Before we hear from Julio Perez, we'll get to hear a track from This Broken Beat. Here is that track, Sleep, by This Broken Beat.
Lay me down to sleep, 'cause I am looking for my dreams. I'm often uninvited, but she keeps on calling me. I find it oddly peaceful when I'm losing all control, 'cause then I know these dreams will take me back to someplace home. Feel it as it all starts to rush in, thinking why you can never admit the change while nobody was watching. Awake is somewhere I get lost in. Awake is somewhere I get lost in.
Hello and welcome listeners to the More You NoCo. I sit here with Julio Perez, Ivan Wayne, your host, and I'll start off this episode with a little bit of story time. So my girlfriend and I recently, I'd say probably a month or two back, we went to a show at the Moxie. And the reason that we had gone to the show that night was Wilderness was headlining. And my girlfriend had heard them on the radio. We knew they were out of Denver. We really wanted to go see them. And the Moxie, for people who don't know, is a music venue in downtown Greeley. Of all the acts, including Wilderness, you were our favorite. And I'm not BSing you. I'm not fluffing you at all. So we saw Julio and his act at the time, This Broken Beat. As soon as we left the Moxie, driving home, we looked you up on Spotify. We listened to your music. And I don't know how many total downloads you have out there, but at least 100 of those are from me since the Moxie and to today. So we both really enjoy your music, me especially. And so I really wanted to have you on the podcast. And we sit here in your home in Capitol Hill, Denver. Mm-hmm. So welcome, first of all.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me here. This is awesome. Or I guess you here, huh?
Right.
Thanks for having me on the show.
You're welcome. Yeah, thanks for having me in. So you had this group. It was a solo project called This Broken Beat. How'd that get started?
Sir. So This Broken Beat wasn't always solo. Well, first, let me say thank you. That is such a compliment, especially playing with some of those bands who are, they're stellar.
I mean, they were great. I'm not dogging on them.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we liked them all, but you were our favorite.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I mean, to be involved with that show and to see what they're doing now is really awesome. But to get to This Broken Beat started, we're in 2019 now. It started about 2015. I began it with one of my best friends. We used to have a girl drummer. Her name's Annie, and she's awesome. And throughout the project, I've done most of the lyrical writing and arrangements, and she just, came in just rocking it on the drums and did the two-piece thing for a good while. And we, first released an EP. Can't remember the exact year, but that built up into a full length of November of 2017. But in that time span, we, started out playing the Moon Room and some of the smaller venues, Lost Lake, and like any other Denver band, just moved our way up. Marquee to Larimer Lounge to the Summit Music Hall, and then the Gothic Theater. Those are some pretty incredible shows. Got to play with some national acts towards last year, and then a little bit in 2016, but really just did the grind as a band and met some really awesome bands along the way. I come from a place of wanting to collaborate with artists, and whether that be in song or even just, booking a show and essentially just booking an event together. I love that aspect, so we really tried to zone in on those artists and bands who really wanted to do that with us, because it just helps build community all together. So just from playing shows to recording music and learning all about the music industry in this little pocket of Denver has really been something that I could have never guessed that I'd be doing, but so grateful to have been doing it, because it's been the most incredible thing in my life. Just through music. I love music and have been doing it now for a little over 10 years. So there was a lot prior to this Broken Beat as well, and not so much playing out in public and performing, but just learning and growing, and played in various churches. But we'll go back to the beginning with my best friend and I, Annie. We started this Broken Beat about 2 years in. She kind of had some other things that she had to deal with. So being the main writer and arranger of the songs kind of felt more like the solo project aspect of it. Annie helped with drums, like I said, and a lot of promotion and a lot of graphic. Like she helped. We have a small logo that we've branded a little bit, and so she designed that, which was really awesome. And like I said, she kind of had some other things on her plate that she needed to deal with, so we moved on. From then, I picked up just some awesome friends around the Denver music scene, just building those relationships from playing together. So got to meet a lot of cool people and other people who really loved what I was doing with this Broken Beat. So they've hopped on and played with me, and since kind of grown to more of a 3-piece thing, just incorporating a little bit more electric guitar, because this Broken Beat has been, my first project, and so it kind of revolves around the alternative rock experimental genre, just because I've been so overwhelmed and overjoyed with the possibilities in music. And so when you have what we have at our disposal with, all the programs, Logic, Pro Tools, the amount of plugins and synths out there, it's like, man, what do I use to write and incorporate? So this Broken Beat was a little bit of and is a combination of all those things. And I love what came out of it, but looking back, I can tell now that I'm a lot more mature songwriter, and knowing what kind of fits together a little bit better dynamically, and just wanting to be a little bit more consistent with the sound, because that's one of the biggest things about a band is that you hear is, that they can find their sound and just capitalize on that. And not to say that, we can't still be creative in our projects, but it is helpful, when if you're a metal band, then you're playing metal, or a pop band, then you're playing pop. And we hear it all the time when bands release a new album and go off the tracks, like, people...
Oh, that's not like their old stuff.
Yeah. But it goes to show the evolution of an artist, too, which is where I'm at. And this Broken Beat has taught me everything I know, and I wouldn't be in this interview if it wasn't for that, obviously.
yeah.
But aside from this interview, there's so many other opportunities that have come out of that project, and it will always be like my baby and my kid. My favorite bands and artists, I'm realizing now, have had their first or second projects before their third or fourth project actually hit,
Yeah, I feel like you always hear about, did you know such and such was actually in a band called this before their big launch? Yeah. So
this Broken Beat being my first, with the momentum and knowing it's my first project and knowing that so many people have resonated with the music helps for sure encourage me as to what's next, and it excites me because knowing that I've grown, I can't wait to collaborate and see what happens in the future with future projects and even this Broken Beat. I'm not sitting here saying it's over, but right. let's get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you feel this shift within you. You feel like you're maturing, and you feel like your targets may be refocusing. So what is it that's rising in you now and helping you get on to this next project?
Yeah, so one of the things that has sparked the newness or whatever, new projects, whatever you want to call it,
shiny.
Yeah, it is a challenge to do a solo full production type project. You know, between wearing, like, as a small local artist, you have to wear all the hats, and I didn't realize this at first. At first, I just started playing music and writing music and performing music, and that's where I sit and love and fit in. You know, if you want to share this music and play with your favorite artist or play at these bigger venues, you have to put your business hat on. And I didn't realize that at first. I got thrown into the scene with This Broken Beat by a friend who needed an extra support band, and we were in no way ready, but in some aspect, you just have to jump into the things that you love sometimes, you know, and that's what it was for us. We were like, yeah, heck yeah, we'll play a show. Our first show was a sold out marquee show. And from there, I was hooked. Like, it got me, you know, the crowd and just the energy of a live show just snatched me up. And I was like, we got to do this. I got to do this. Mm-hmm. So I was hooked from there. And leading into that, you know, I realized, oh, all these bands have merch. Oh, all these bands have stickers. Oh, you know, this band has a Facebook page. Shoot, I guess we got to jump on it and get on top of these things. And, you know, I was pretty young at the time too, so it all came as a full wave just at once, and just realizing what you have to do to continue your music if it's what you want to do, more than just it being like, you know, a hobby that you do. Mm-hmm. You know, it's something that you really got to take seriously and understand at least all the things that go into it to help move it forward. So, you know, I had to get out of my room from writing and performing and learn about marketing a little bit and learn about booking a little bit and, you know, sending out emails to different promoters. And so This Broken Beat was the learning process of it all. And so moving forward, and now knowing maybe a little bit more than I did when I started, I would love to have that team element. You know, some people call it a band, which it is. Right. And I have a band that plays with me live. That, you know, that's their only obligation and responsibility to the band is just, you know, learn the parts, come in ready to play, let's rehearse a few times. But, you know, aside from that, moving forward, I would love to have that team, you know, to have maybe a few more members on stage who are sharing the passion and sharing the load of what it takes to move forward. And so have different people come in with different strengths, because my strength isn't necessarily marketing. I've gotten good at it because I've had to, but I would love to just be able to sit and write and perform and create music. You know, but it takes time to get there, and you have to prove yourself before you can delegate that task out. So to share that load with the team is kind of what I'm searching for now. Mm-hmm. It just makes the movement feel a lot bigger than just you, right? You know, because I think for me, one of the main goals in all this music stuff is to be able to share music to really just uplift somebody or connect with somebody, you know, and maybe change their day a little bit through song and music.
What about sharing the writing, like collaborating and someone who says,
exactly,
like,
yeah,
actually, do you mind if I write this melody and then you can put the lyrics on top or something like that, where it's not you driving anymore and like everyone else in the back seat. It's like everyone has their hands on the steering wheel a little bit, which doesn't fit well with the car metaphor because that sounds very dangerous, but essentially.
Dude, yeah, that is exactly what I'm talking about. I'd love to share in writing the songs because, and it's one of my 2019 goals actually, is to become a better collaborator, because I'm so used to driving, you know, in the driver's seat. Mm-hmm. And after, you know, listening to some of my favorite podcasts, one, I'll just shout out Ross Golan. He's a songwriter out in LA, and that's what he does 40 hours a week, you know, plus more. Mm-hmm. And it's like, if you want to do this, you have to look at it like it is essentially like your job, you know. If you want to make a living off of it, you got to put in the time and put in the work. And, you know, for him, I just like relating it to him. It's new songwriters every single day. And sure, we all wake up sometimes and are like, I don't want to go to work. But I'm trying to learn to jump past those humps and be like, okay, let me get into the writing zone with the people that I'm with to jump on whatever, you know, emotion or story we're trying to tell and be better at that, rather than just sitting by myself with my guitar doing it. I think I've gotten good at that, but the best songs that I've made have come from those moments of feedback, feeding off each other, and a group of people getting creative rather than just myself. And I love that you asked that question, because it's something I'm striving to do more. And for the the certain individuals that I am writing with now, I've just been upfront. I'm like, dudes, take me off my driver's seat because I'm so used to that, and I need you to tell me, like, no. Or I need you to be like, let's try this. And it's been so good for me, and it's really helped me flourish as a songwriter even more. And I've loved some of this year so far. I know we're only through the first month, but I've already written like a handful of songs with others.
Hey, there you go.
And also getting away from agenda a little bit. I exhausted myself in 2018 just from promoting the album late 2017 because, you put something out huge like that, and then you have to keep up with it and keep, throwing it out there, creating different content around that. And 2018 was so much more business-minded than it was creative. And this time I'm doing it a little different with people around me rather than by myself. And it's been really good. I've seen some really awesome songs come out of it already.
And I really latched on to what you said earlier about sometimes many of us feel like when we do something for fun and it's outside of our typical job that we get paid for, that it can't feel like work at all. Like the moment it feels like obligation, that passion, that career, or that like side hustle or that hobby is gone.
Yeah.
And I get why people say that, because we want things that we do in our free time to be fun. But ultimately, something is pulling you to that activity. And at some point, there's going to be a ball that rolls over that's going to take more effort than it did yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And there is going to be a time where you have to pick yourself up and say, yes, I do this for fun, but I also need to light a fire underneath my rear because there's something that has to be done here. Maybe it's not my favorite thing, or maybe today I'm just not feeling it. But if you're wanting to keep that thing alive, then you got to keep watering it.
Yeah, I've really been digging into the idea of finding your passion, and if you really want to do it, then you have to run after it. And there's just the cliche quote as well, and I think there's definitely some truth to it. If you find what you love and work hard at it, then you'll never work a day in your life. And I know we've heard that a million times, but there is definitely truth in that. People just miss the working part of it sometimes. And so what I like to do is wake up and like, well, I could be, sitting at a desk and hating it. So do I want to put in work doing that? Or do I want to just buckle up and put in the work doing what I love? Even though, some days are going to be a little bit more challenging than others, I know I'd much rather be doing this. And that kind of helps me push through those times of like, drag. And
yeah. The one I see a lot now is your dreams won't work if you don't.
Yeah.
So you have to put in the work to get to that dream that's up there, the pie in the sky, so to speak.
Yeah, big time.
So the songs that you're writing right now and starting to collaborate with other people, how would you say, has it been a different process? Do you feel like even the content of the songs that you're writing now is a little different than This Broken Beat or what you've done before?
Yeah, definitely. I think my biggest strength as a writer is lyrics. So for the individuals that I've been writing with now, at least most of them, that's still been kind of like my area. They'll delegate lyrics to me, but it's a different place you have to go into when you're writing lyrics if you want to write like something authentic, which I'm all about. My favorite music is when you can seriously just feel the artist like pouring their heart out, whether it's a hard, sad song or, a poppy song. Even you can even hear it in pop songs when you know that somebody's being genuine with the story that they're trying to tell. So I think I'm still doing that and just taking more feedback of like, I don't know if that line makes sense, or I don't, that's not really resonating with me. So I'm still doing a lot of the lyrical parts of the music. And This Broken Beat came from, like I said, a very experimental place. So there's a lot of synth work and a lot of kind of crazy dynamic sections. So, we have kind of a normal pop song. It's like verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse 2, pre-chorus, chorus, bridge, double chorus. And This Broken Beat is, it almost kind of switched up songs sometimes within a song. And I have come to really love indie music and more of that just kind of normal, arranged, more organic sounding songs, at least for this moment in my life. it's always a journey, and I think we're always into new things. But currently, I just love the sound of a few guitars, some real drums, real bass, maybe some keys and synth here and there, but just really keeping it straightforward to resonate just a little bit better. And I love that, because This Broken Beat, once again, was a 2-piece, so we heavily relied on tracks to help fill that room. While that was super awesome, and we see a lot of artists doing that today, one of the biggest, 21 Pilots, they absolutely kill it, but so much of that emotion that they draw out of people is from that production that's going on around them as well. I personally believe you have to have that, unless you are just super engaging, which they are. They could do it now with how great their songs are. But I mean, imagine if it was just Tyler Joseph on vocals and his ukulele and Josh on the drums. I mean, that's going to sound super empty, Mm-hmm. So I just kind of fallen into this place where I like seeing different dynamics happening on stage. This person is just grooving on the bass, maybe 2 electric guitars just in harmony with each other. Maybe we're singing a gang vocal at times, everybody's doing that, and then the drummer, and we're moving towards a very production type culture, and naturally, especially with the way technology is going, that's really awesome to see. I still love just seeing a individual person sharing their God-given genuine talent with their instrument, and then doing it in a group is one of the best things for me. I love seeing a band in the pocket and getting away from the technology of the production and the screens and the lights, and I'm just loving that aspect of music right now. So that's what I'm digging into a little bit more, just having a few more members on stage, and not just fill-ins, people who love doing it together. And writing together, and writing music that comes out of a really genuine, talented place of harmony with each other. And so, yeah, it's a little bit more organic and indie, for the short answer. I took us on a trail on that one.
That's great.
But yeah, man, I love just the aspect of a full band a little bit more right now.
Yeah,
it's just fun, versus sitting in my room with my headphones on in front of my computer with my MIDI on the side. While that's also fun, it's cool just to have friends and around you, and everybody loves...
And making it with people.
Yeah, having community's really, really awesome, so...
Yeah. So are any of these projects and collaborations, are they sending you melodies at all, and you're getting to write on top of that? Or, what's it look like on the ground for you these days?
Yeah, I'm still constructing most of the melodies. There's been, I think a great way to start writing a song is by chord progression or riff or something, and so we'll send those back and forth remotely. Just here's the chord progression we're playing over, it leads into this. And I would say I'm not bad at arranging, so I'll do a lot of that, it kind of feels like it should go here. And so it's a lot of just sending back and forth, more instrumental at the moment, and kind of seeing where it goes from there.
Right.
Yeah.
So does this new project in development with friends and community have a name? Are you all coming together, joining forces?
Yeah, it actually started with a name, which is crazy, because for me, naming songs and naming things is probably one of the most challenging things. Sometimes the name will come super natural, and just, that's it. Oh, we heard, I don't know, whatever the name is, and that's it. But a friend was like, hey man, I don't know if he said it jokingly or if he was serious about it, but he instilled the name into my mind of Bedweather. Bedweather. For this group of individuals, it definitely resonates and relates with kind of the people that we are and the music that I think we're going to be writing. When I think of Bedweather, I kind of think of gloomy days, maybe a rainy window.
Yeah, we're talking about weather that makes you want to stay in bed.
Yeah,
right?
Which is really awesome weather. And some people might not agree, but I love that. I personally thrive in those. I get most creative when weather's like that. And sure, maybe it's a little melancholy and sad, but so many great things come out of that kind of weather. And not just the weather, it's the whole idea of that weather. And so, Bedweather, yeah, man, I'm excited for it. And this is actually the first public thing about it that'll be out there. So be a little patient with it, but...
Well, Bedweather, everyone. And we're actually going to get to hear Julio play here in a moment.
Yeah.
So that will also be a first for our podcast, The Morning NoCo, because we've never had a live performance. It's always been tracks.
Wow.
So excited for this. So for you in the future, you got Bedweather, maybe a couple other projects, and then you're still out there playing This Broken Beat, right?
This Broken Beat is still going. with our music being shared as much as it has, there's still requests out there to come play live and come do these things, and I love that. That uplifts my heart so big. And so thank you for all of you who have listened to it and just shared our tunes. So we have going to be playing the Paper Fashion Show, which is involved with Denver Fashion Week. It's kind of funny. We're on a runway, so I'll be running up and down the runway as I'm singing a few songs.
There you go.
And then another show in the works with some of the favorite local bands. I don't think I can share about it yet, but should be happening late March, early April. So we'll be posting on the page.
Okay, and what page should people follow or get in contact with you on?
This Broken Beat I'm still on that every single day, and then
So is that Facebook?
That's Facebook,
Okay.
Yep. I mean, that's Facebook, Instagram, mainly Facebook and Instagram. And I'm a pretty open book kind of person, so feel free to friend me or, hit me up just personally. I love chatting with people, so Julio Perez, just on all the social medias as well.
Excellent. And when Bedweather stuff starts to come out, we'll promote it, and we'll have the
Awesome.
fans will be right there
Heck yeah,
salivating for some tracks.
Yeah, it'll be some new tasteful music kind of from my brain and also some other people's brains this time around. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about it for sure.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. This has been awesome.
Yeah. After we stopped our conversation, Julio grabbed his guitar and wanted to play a brand new song. He wrote this song as a Christmas gift for one of his family members. This song is about going through someone else's tough times with them. Here is I Am a Riot by Julio Perez.
I am a riot, I push my weight, I come around, then sometimes I'll stray, oh, but I'll be home tonight. Been on the upside, been on the down, been where the shadows block out all the sound, but for now, this town is ours. I feel it running through our veins, pulling us closer into place. So when the rivers run dry and the ground starts to shake, when you're so tired and can't find your way, I'll be there. No, I won't be far. Through every winter, through all the muck, down in the dirt when you're feeling so stuck, just hold on, 'cause you belong. Oh, and I feel it running through our veins, pulling us closer into place. So when the rivers run dry and the ground starts to shake, when you're so tired and can't find your way, I'll be there. No, I won't be far. Oh, oh. I feel it running through our veins, pulling us closer into place. So when the rivers run dry and the ground starts to shake, When you're so tired and can't find your way, I'll be there. No, I won't be far.
I have some shout outs for a couple people who make this show live and breathe, making it all possible. Trevor Fossey edits, mixes, and EQs our episodes, putting the time in behind the scenes. Russell Isaac Long provides us with the wonderful music that greets and departs all our episodes here at the NoCo. It's people like these two who have made this show possible, and I thank you both very much. To stay connected with the NoCo, follow us on Instagram or Facebook at the NoCo. Original, right? Don't worry, listener. We will be back soon with another episode featuring another person or a group of people. Thank you to everyone out there for listening and supporting the show and bringing our community together. Until next time, peace!